Let's flip it over one more round. So now, I come here, it's Martin King's birthday. Jesse got a $150 plate dinner. There's Daly up there speaking. Now, how am I going to replace a motherfucker for mayor, and I'm going to have him at my dinner? Then I'm going to take a picture with him. You know what his poster going to look like. It's going to be me in this picture. Then I see Clay Evans and Wilbur Daniels, all the motherfuckers standing behind him, right? Daly up there, they handed him an achievement award and shit at the Martin King dinner, where his daddy fucked Martin King every day, tried to kill his motherfucker, right? Now Jesse says he comes down toughest on gangster rap, see? Now he say, now look, Copeland and I got this round table group shit, boule shit, circle within a circle shit, skull and bones, roll, drop top, all this old bullshit, man. Now come on, pin the tail on the nigga now. Let's get up off of this white man as the problem, and let's get on with this black on black man. So then him and Dick Gregory and got Dick Gregory, I got the piece in Dick Gregory on the ADL fundraising committee and shit. Dorothy Tucker and all them going marching on the gangster rappers. Because the hunky say, now if I give you this money, you got to prove to me that the hunky ain't got nothing to do with black man's problems. Now here we are, been fucked in this country 500 years, and now we find out that what's really been plaguing us has been gangster rap. Shit ain't 10 years old, right? But it's been fucking us for 490 years. We just figured the shit out. It was clairvoyance and shit. Oh yeah, I remember when they reconstructed gangster rap did this shit. You know? So then, after I come here, there's Push down there with the homeless and shit, right? Right? Remember that? They was down there that morning chasing around trying to find what the homeless was doing, right? Then they went back to that 2,000-seat auditorium, well-heated Jewish temple, empty, even on Saturdays. No homeless in there. Check? Meaning that they were looking for someone to help somebody who they could have helped. Check? So none of the churches, Donald Parson Church, any of them ministers, none of their churches were holding the homeless because they keep them locked. So they was down there looking like they was on the case. Then Tinta, I'm an agent for them, Strasbourg, writes the cover story. But she always writes the cover story. Always write the cover story. Wrote all the anti-Steve Copley Defender cover stories. That's her job, write the cover story. She goes down and writes Push agenda for the whole year story. Then as I mention this shit out loud, somebody say, well, you know, Push came up with a poll, say Joe Gardner the only one for mayor. I said, well, I didn't know that, but it fits the pattern. We got the formula cooking. Formula's cooking, right? Anything go in it, just another ingredient in the soup, right? Okay, so we're pushing on this. We're pushing a little harder. And we recognize that the anti-crime budget is about who can come in and stop black people from doing things that are threatening white people. Who can come in? Who can we call on to do this? This is troubling us. And I'm going to tell you something, brothers. What it's going to do is going to pit you against your own community, and people that hate the hunky going to end up beating you on security detail because you're going to be the one standing between them and the hunky. You getting ready to set up into some shit you're going to regret for years from now. Brother Copley tell you tonight, don't take the government money, because then you will be wards of the government and will become the enemy of the people. Because I do remember your main man saying falsely that the #1 enemy of black people is the government. Now which one is you? Now y'all got to listen carefully, because you might have not understood that. But someone says the #1 enemy of black people is the government. Then you get a government contract. I'm confused. But I'm still anti-government. I'm still anti-Israeli. I'm still anti-Jewish. Pardon me? Who said what, bro? Minister Farrakhan said that. He said that. He said that the #1 enemy of black people is the U.S. government. And that is a false statement on the surface. That is false. Because long before there was government, we used to get fucked with this country. Government is something that carried out the criminal conspiracy. We're talking about the hunkies that control the government. Right? So that's false from the jump. Let alone now you get a government grant. That's something's confusing there. And see, Brother Copley got the type of thing, he don't mind standing up and saying it. See, some of you sit back and you think about these things, and you're really afraid to say it. And you're afraid to say it because two things. You feel disrespected, who will listen to you? And two, you're thinking that somehow somebody's going to hurt you for telling the truth. See, if somebody say I'm lying, then they will come with a better clarifying statement. I tell you, I don't have them back there because I really didn't come here to lecture tonight. I came to replace the speaker that Robert didn't have. But there's a tape, I got it in video. Black-Jewish Relations 93 and Africa 93. I said two things in both of them videos. I said I resented the Final Call, Pudding, the Civil Rights All-Stars, Jesse Jackson, Ben Shavers, Joe Lowry, Leon Sullivan. I resented them being put in a credible, our most credible newspaper, and being given accolades about being in Africa, having sold African asshole every fucking day since 1908. I resented that shit. And I still resent the shit. And I want to tell you, I resent it from the bottom of my heart because it's an unscientific alliance. Now, I said something else in there. I further said that I resented Irv Kupcinet, Rabbi Marx, and a lot of them other honky, Jewish, fucking ass, no good, CIA spying rabbis who I spoke against at every fucking Savior's Day as spying on black people. I resented them being met with. That's an unscientific statement for them to have had an association with somebody I love and respect. I resent that shit. And I have the science to prove I said it every day, and even you paid me to say it. Do you not hear me when I talk for you? Now something is wrong here. We seem to be operating off of something other than the scorecard. Now the scorecard gives you tendencies, batting averages, failure rates, stolen bases, drop passes, tackles, sacks. All them details are in the science of this. We make decisions on what we do on the science of what we know. But we don't make decisions in absence of the science, or we get confused. And I further said that when it came to the Black Caucus meeting at the Congressional Black Caucus, and that Final Call cover honorably said, after the niggas betrayed, brother, at the March on Washington, after they did just what I said they would do in the Africa 93 tape. Soon as they come back to America and don't need the brother to go deep into Africa, they're going to drop him when they get back here, and they did just that. With Rabbi Saperstein, the head rabbi over the fucking Rabbi Marx you met with. So why would you meet with him since it didn't add up to nothing but further embarrassment? We cannot keep suffering these embarrassments and maintain a relationship with the little people who are going to bring on the revolution. You are the only ones who will make it happen. There's no one else showing up. Ain't no nigga with no house, no car, no nothing going to show up and do it. The little people are going to do it. And when the little people's heroes confuse them, then the little people think they'll never come about. And that is an intolerable moment. And it must be called to order. It's out of order. And let it not be for mere money. Please, don't let me get to the bottom of this. And that it be for mere money. Please, don't let it be for mere money. Don't let it be for mere money. We can secure things with our relationships to deal with contracts. We don't need to do it for money. Now, when that Black Caucus came down, and Ben Shaver stood on that podium, and what was in there, Busty? All right. And on that podium, Ben Shaver said he resented being put on the cover of the Final Call as a sellout. And the cover was correct. Ben did just what Ben did. Ben Hooks did what Ben Shavers did. Ben Shavers do what Ben Hooks did. And the evidence was, as soon as he got in there, first thing he did was took $1 million from Denny's. When the brothers who didn't get served said, why ain't they paying us? We the motherfuckers got disrespected. How you gonna come in and pay another motherfucker for me getting hit? That's what a hoe do. Now, I ain't aligned with that shit. You wouldn't catch me aligned with no NAACP. They ain't never changed since they fucked Marcus Garvey. They fucked Elijah Muhammad. Don't you love who you believe in? Your behavior is judged by it. Ben Shaver stood at that podium and said he resented that. The covenant was compelled on the cover of the final call. That compelled the covenant. Because them niggas know that if the minister called their ass tomorrow and said they were sellouts, they'd be blank, they'd be Zippo, they'd be out the game. So when the cover drew that insinuation, they will hurt that real bad because they can't penetrate the black community to spy for the hunky if somebody else busts their cover. That's what they do, spy in the... bring in your guns. What motherfucking sellout nigga gonna be looked at on the record after the revolution out here trying to pick up a fucking handgun against a motherfucking satellite that can stop a car without touching it? Somebody gonna pick up a handgun, and then Bobby Rush gonna condemn Scottie Pippen. You sell out, little bitch. Now, see, y'all a little different about it than me. Y'all a little different about me. Y'all are amused by it. See, I'm hurt. I'm hurt by it because I've sacrificed for the right to beat this hunky, and after years of setting up this shit, I don't like nobody coming along unscientifically and fucking it up, providing covers for agents. Because soon I'll start to get the picture much clearer. It'll look like it's all one big move. And I believe me, before I let the people go down, you will go down. Before I let the people go down. The people's options to get the hunky will remain open. To get all the way to the top hunky. There'll be nothing on your operation to get the hunky. And that must be preserved. That virginity, the people's right to go all the way without compromise. That must be preserved, and that demands sacrifice. And you will even be disrespected for the right. Some will even talk about you under their breath. Some will even tell on you like this is some news. The shit been the same since you met me. I ain't changed. Only circumstances and your position changed. So that covenant came down. And they agreed to something right there that they wouldn't do something, but they did it. How can a nigga keep a word when he ain't got his word? Ain't no Urban League gonna keep no word, ain't got no word. They didn't create no organization. Rockefeller put $6 million in the Urban League. Then I have to say it, I don't like it. In the final call said Urban League say go for self. They ain't never been for no motherfucking self. You can't sit up with $6 million of Rockefeller's money talking about you going for yourself. That's false. That's not true. That's an unscientific statement. And just for the record.
Go ahead, brother.
Oh, I'm going to tell the truth.
Tell it.
Everybody ain't going to like it, but they'll know God sent me. They're going to have to vouch for who sent them. Urban League, do for self. Urban League don't do for a motherfucking self. Urban League is an agent penetrating black. James Compton out here doing for self. Nigga here probably drunk right now, lapping up on some woman butt. How long he been there? 40 years he been head of Urban League in Chicago. Compromise every nigga ever come this way. Now that's the Urban League you know. Now is there somewhere else doing something else? I've been there too. There ain't shit there either. So what? I don't understand it. I'm confused. And I'm here to get some answers. I'm going to get my answers. Because I got the weight. They have a way of coming to me to clarify the confusing nature of circumstances that are limiting the people's option to get the hunky. And this is the cover of the blacks angered over attack on Jackson family. I ain't angered. Every motherfucker I talked to wasn't angered. I ain't met nobody yet that was angered. Motherfucker coming here getting $10,000 speaking at 10, 21 years old, ain't never done shit but what his daddy told him to do. I ain't angered worth shit. That ain't nothing but a ploy to build back up a broken face. I'm proud I helped break it. No, you say that applause. This is deeper than that, y'all. This is deeper than applause. These could be the final moments that we have these options. So that was a powerful cover that compelled a covenant. And I watched them sit up there and I said, boy, you have to be a lot of tolerance to hang out, to hang with them, and to believe they're going to come around. They take a lot of tolerance. And I can say that someone can be inspired by God and believe that they need another chance. That can be true. But my God is a vengeful God. The one I serve, he like that retaliation. That's a compelling moment, so I'm confused. Now, after this covenant come down, and there has been always an attempt in the black community for years to try to work a way that we can all work together. But I have a little statement I make that there can be no unity around immorality. And I reject that term unity for just the sake of being together. If we're going to be together, then let's go together. Let's be in love. But there ain't no hanging out. I don't need to hang out with you. There's no need to just hang out to be unified. And since the hunky sent them, it ain't like the hunky don't know the real score. What'd you think? ADL sit up and say, well, they think they're anything. We'll show whose niggas they are. And them niggas quaked fast as the word went. Here's a speech 3 months old. How did they set this shit up just so clearly that they gonna pick some shit in November, put it in the paper in January to compel some shit in February? That's timing. Dr. Khallid been giving the same speech for 20 years. To take the goddamn white man kicked their ass better than that, and the hunky Jewish rabbis was in the room, he kicked their ass. They didn't run out and say apologize. They said, please don't tell everybody we took that ass kicking. And put their heads down in shame. They got their ass kicked. The ADL. How long I've been trying to get somebody to bite on the ADL's ass? When the ADL showed up, and notice this how clever they are. In '84, when they started that shit on the minister, they misconstrued a speech and he said something he didn't say. When they came to me, they did the same thing. They say I said something I didn't say. Now I said a bunch of shit, but they didn't go through none of that. They went off on some other shit that I didn't say, and they know a motherfucker ain't gonna get too angry about defending some shit they didn't say. You say, well, you see, they got an agenda. It ain't about dialogue. It ain't about the answer. It's about they got to make a move, so they make a move on the hypothetical thing. That's the type of move they have to make when they don't want to get into to what you're really saying. So rather than getting into what you're really saying, or rather than getting into what the minister really said, I mean, check this out. The Jewish people are so clever. Any of you all got the ad they ran in the paper on Dr. Khallid? I'm going to show you how clever them honkies are. I got the ad on overhead. I can't show it to you. But if you check the ad goes, and Professor Griff was right. ... And then it says, and he was right too when he was here. You know what's in the ... Robert X? Steve Coakley was right too. But the hunky, if you got the speech, you can hear it. The hunky is so smart. Before he put the ad in every fucking paper in this country, he deletes one word, Steve Coakley. Now, why would the hunky have to delete one little Steve Coakley? Because you know that the people looking at Coakley's information say, he was right. He did show me this shit. He got this shit right there. So they took, and Professor Griff was right, ... and he was right too. You say, well, who was it that they took? The hunky cannot name my name. In the screaming that goes on in the media, you can no longer say Steve Coakley. You can say a former aide to a Chicago mayor. Yes, Robert.
I got you in the January edition of Omni Magazine as a member of the Nation of Islam. Tied to Mr. Farrakhan. And last week on Charlie...
Oh, now what you say now? Oh, go back. I missed that last part.
They tied you to...
Oh, stop. You said what now?
Yep.
I saw the Omni article. Okay, you called my house.
They made you a minister, a part of the Nation of Islam.
Right.
And last Monday, on Charlie Rose show, when they were discussing the whole ADL situation, you also came in.
Yep. I think that guy Saperstein was on, who wrote a book called Tough Choices, where he condemns me in there as being a minister of the Nation of Islam. It's a very honorable position. There's nothing dishonorable about that. But it's just that they are part of a psychological thing they feed to other hunkies. So you got this association thing that they need. Ain't nothing harmful there, one way or another. But it's just that it's obvious they're on that mission. Now, in fact, in U.S. News and World Report, they're running a little bar on the minister, making statements saying, well, he's done things over the years. And the last one was defended one of his top aides who was assistant to a mayor who said the AIDS epidemic is a result of Jewish doctors. Another one of them vague little paragraphs where they vague you. Anyway, in that speech of Dr. Khallid, he brought up the word De Beers, diamond mines. Now they did leave De Beers in there. One little name. Now the tape, how many of you all actually heard the tape? You need to hear the tape. How many of you actually heard the tape? That's good, sister, because the tape is a lot better than the words that they ran on the screen. You had to jump over a lot of names to run that stuff on the screen, like we'll push them over the cliff, we'll kill the babies and all that, you know? Because if you listen to the tape, there's names going in the tape, but they skipped out all the names in the condemnation. See, you don't want to give more credibility to what he's saying by saying what he really said. They blanked it out. And he had some very strong, positive, and affirmative statements. And let's just agree with this. Let's agree to this. When you bring what you got to give to so-called America, when you rise up and revolt and change the structure and the leadership, your leadership will be so profound, and your interaction with even people lesser than you will be so profound and honorable that you won't have to push the hunky off the cliff. Rather than to serve under you, he will jump. You're not going to have to kill the little white babies because you're threatened by a little white baby. When the white man, having deceived the society for so long that it can never be run right, sees how well it's run under you, he will kill his babies rather than let them see what really life could be like. He will do that. He will do that because the weight of what you have to offer will compel him to. And you're looking at two hunkies beating each other over gold, not God. One hunky gonna beat another hunky in the leg for the gold medal. The worship of gold. What did the protocol say? It says they will come to worship gold, not God. Say it right in there, for the love of gold. And you know them Olympics is doing me, the motherfuckers supposed to jump up there and light the torch died and practice and shit. They got that shit going on, but that hunky shit is... I wouldn't want to be caught next to him because this shit going... It's rough. It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. Now, that's right, brother. He gets coming. He got shit, the flood one week, the earthquake next week, the beating each other in the knees, the Israelis running all through the government, kicking ass. Something up, something up, something up. It's a good time to grab your values and hold tight. Hold on to your values. Now, okay, I'm confused. I'm confused. I guess I'm confused with, after all of this, what do we owe the white man? What do we owe the white man? I'm confused. Let me show you this. Everybody should have a copy of this issue. In fact, some of my friends were at that meeting in New York said it was an outstanding meeting. It was a great meeting. I want you to open it up and look at the story on page 2. Is the ADL anti-black? Jewish group has history of character assassination. That is correct. I only had one tape here on the ADL tonight, and sister bought it already. It's ADL. I remember giving that lecture over at Bill's AA typewriter before 12 people. There's only 12 people in Chicago in '88 wanted to hear the only Afrocentric analysis of the ADL still in this country, and our history in this country still. I just sold the one I had, but all it is the only Afrocentric analysis of the ADL in this country since we've been in this country still, based on a person who put it out with no job, no money, no institution, no typewriter, no car, no house, no nothing, but based on the desire to get them. I make one statement about the things that are on them tables in the back. Why have we gotten so deep in the hunky? Why do you come and see me? Because I bring you something new about the hunky? Because we desire to get him. And our evidence is what you see when you see me is how deep we done got up in his shit. Now there's some with more money, more things to work with, and more people, but desire less. So less comes out. We are penetrating the bowels of the hunky because we mean to kill him. That's the only way to deal with a cancer that's growing, eating all the living things. And we understand that there's a righteous connotation for doing that that triggers an unstoppable revolution. We understand that. My only point to you is why are not there deeper penetrations of the hunky, seeing that most have more to work with? You see little babies run around here, sister run around here, we're barely able to get here, barely able to set up. We might be slow doing all the things for ourselves, but we deep on that hunky. And I mean, I don't need to tell you in these cities how deep shit they got, how out of control shit they got. Because what does out of control mean? How proud am I, Robert, to put a tape on in another city and the man standing west say, well, what's this about this boule? You know, Robert and Randy and Harold and Dancer and Prancer and Nixon and all of them keep telling us every week about all of these things we don't never want to hear about anyway. But you walk in any city, there's a whole nother cadre in every city doing the same thing, making sure that don't shit come down unless the enemy's perspective is put right in the analysis of it. And we can't even go on a picnic unless we talk about who owned the ground we picnicking on. That always has to be in forefront of all parts of the dialogue. Oh, and by the way, we're going to see how funny it is, Robert X. They're out here picking panelists for this Jewish hate museum project called Bridges and Boundaries, which I'm going to ask you all to come walk on with me, because we're going to walk on the museum to stop. Part of 1/6 of the shit is a condemnation of myself, and it's a Jewish hate thing. They're around picking panelists to sit down and dialogue and shit. It's going to be interesting to see who step up there as a spokesperson for us against them on some bullshit. It's going to be interesting to see. Anyway, for those of you who are interested in getting that ADL tape, you'll have to either catch me tomorrow or catch me when I get back here. I'll be speaking to Harold Washington College March 9th. Harold Washington College March 9th in the daytime, but I'll be here all that week. You can write it down now. Coakley will be here all that week. Because everybody want to know, when Coakley going to be here? When is he leaving? When is he going? He'll be here all of that week. Now, let's get into this article here a little bit. Now remember, Coakley said this Urban League Do for Self article is not true. Urban League do not do for self. They're a granted organization, and if you had 10, 12, 30 million from hunkies, you'd be out here doing for yourself too. That's what they did. They did it for themselves, not for the self. They're for themselves. Somebody got to take a walk upstairs. I can shout over them, but why should I? Yeah, they just packing up. Huh? We're going to pull it in a minute. We're going to pull this raffle in a minute, too. Now, I want to show you something. In this story on the ADL, which starts on page 2 and continues on page 9 and then page 10. Oh, y'all got to go now? I'm ready to go myself, shit. I'll get out of here. No, the me standing up there, I ain't getting paid. No. Oh, no, we finished. I'm about to go. Sorry, right. We just getting to the best part right now. We're ready to build a key shit. Go ahead. Well, it ain't that key. It's just interesting. This article here, remember I also said blacks hanging over attack on Jackson family. And false. And then that ADL story goes on page 9 and then it goes on to page 10. And in that page 10, it has a little interview with Steve Coakley here. Our brother James Muhammad called me up for a little interview. And having not been an advocate of the covenant, I asked that that be made known in the story because that's true. And it's also kind of interesting, you know, I was just on a radio show in Los Angeles preparing for this lecture I got in Los Angeles this week, a couple of them. And a lady called in and said, Dr.Khallid was just here and he condemned you for saying that the minister shouldn't be meeting with these civil rights all-stars and with them Jewish rabbis. He did it in Baltimore. He did it in Washington. He did it in New York. He did it in every city he went to. So I really love Brother Steve, but he shouldn't do this. And I thought, isn't it strange? The guy that defended the thing got bit by the same thing he defended. He got bit by the thing he felt was worth saving. And he's an honorable brother, and he's very respectful, even of me. This is not a disagreement. It was a strategic. Yes, sir.
Okay, no disrespect. You did see the press conference.
In Washington? Yes.
You saw it. You heard what you said in the press conference.
Yes, very much.
He did not announce what Dr. Khallid said. It's the manner.
No, he suspended it.
He suspended it. He did not put Dr. Khallid out of station. Nor
No,
did he
that's right. That's correct.
He did not refute what Dr. Khallid said about the
He
truth.
suspended it. He
He
suspended. That's all he did was
No,
suspend
you
it.
understand what I'm saying?
No, you're trying to
He
qualify.
exaggerated him.
No, you're trying to.
What he did.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. I don't even see a need to do that.
It's not qualified, but what I'm saying is I'm not qualified with
I see your microphone say
No,
like
no,
this.
sir, that's okay. What I'm saying is that he did not, Dr. Khallid said what he said about the Jews. He didn't say what Dr. Khallid said about the Jews was wrong.
Did I say he said what
But
Dr.
you
Khallid?
said he went back there and refused, like, put Dr. Khallid.
He suspended it. He put him down. He sat him down.
Okay, he sat him down, but for what?
That's a good question. Since he didn't disagree, if he didn't disagree with what he said, why did he do it?
For years,
That's why I'm
he said that.
confused.
He said it on the press conference. Did you see the press conference?
I saw it all since I lived in
said-
Washington. I saw it all.
Yes, sir. He said for years, Dr. Khallid, and I've been speaking everything, Dr. Khallid wired down. Wired down. For years he was
Correct.
talking to Dr.
Correct.
Khallid.
But let me ask you this. Then couldn't he have done that with Dr. Khallid?
Dr. Khallid, and also remember, Dr. Khallid made that
Oh, stop now, stop. Hold on, hold on.
Dr.
This is not
Khallid made a
adversarial.
mistake.
Brother, have a seat. This is not adversarial. Okay, okay.
Dr. Khallid made the mistake in the public. He has to go back and correct it in the public.
He did say that in the press
He
conference.
did say that.
But Dr. Khallid been giving that speech for 20 years.
And
That's
for
not-
20 years he's been saying the same thing.
Yeah,
Dr.
but sister, then he
Khallid-
should have
Did
sat
you
him
hear
down before the honky ass.
No, that's not. No,
Hold on, stop. I don't want this to get into that. 'Cause
It's not that.
It ain't that, right.
It's
Come
not
on.
separating our people.
Right. The sister's raising a question, and she's trying to clarify the feeling in regards to him being set down. And I'm well aware of Khallid being set down before this on other occasions for things similar to this.
And therefore, it's
Correct.
not because of what he said. What he
Correct.
said was correct.
Correct.
He didn't dispute what he said. It's the mannerism Dr. Khallid is moving at the time of the case.
Correct.
You know what case we're moving on?
Correct. All that's correct. I don't have, you're not disputing anything I'm saying. But what I'm further saying is that I am confused about why that was necessary to people who have raped and killed other people and who are the scummiest people on the planet.
Everything is done. It's not for the devil, not for the white man. We have to do this for our people too.
Then it-
Our people have to know. We have
Then
to do
it
this for
could
our
have been done for you.
There you go.
Correct.
Okay then.
But not there with them.
Where is our people? We have to go in front
They,
to see our people.
not Washington, D.C. It's
That's where else do we go?
And they could have done it here. This is headquarters. Do the heads.
Headquarters.
Headquarters.
That's the nation. That's the devil's nation.
I cannot.
The devil go to Washington. The white man go to Washington and speak on everything. But that's where everybody hears him from Washington.
If he
Am I
said it,
correct?
I would tell
He
you.
said in Chicago. It's kept down. It's kept in Chicago.
Now, if he said it here, they would all come here. If they felt he had something to say that they wanted to hear, why was it live on C-SPAN? Because they wanted to hear it. That's not our station. That's their station.
It's on CNN also.
I'm saying C-SPAN. That's what I'm saying. C-SPAN, CNN. It was on CNN, then they reran it on C-SPAN. And they had run the speech in New York on C-SPAN, and they ran the speech before that at the Press Club. I mean, these things are on. It's not that they're not on. And they covered them from wherever they felt the news was. And I guess I just want you to understand that I am confused. I'm confused. Based on my research, I'm
We have
confused.
about anger about something. We should do more research.
I researched it pretty good. Let me show you one.
Well, then if you research it pretty good, you're not confused. You know why.
It says, I'm confused about this. Let me tell you something I'm confused about. This is an interview of me in the final call. I'm confused by the need to do this. Sit. Watch. Pardon? Did I what?
You should allow them to interview.
This is Brother James Muhammad. This is my friend. He the editor of the paper. He called me up 5 times to interview me. Why he's my brother? Why wouldn't I want to interview with him? I mean, I'm in here, I was in here on Ben Shavers saying he wasn't no good. That's interview was in there when he got pointed.